This is Anais, and this is a continuation of a translation of current energies following the new moon in Aries. And we are now in October of 2019, and depending on where you are in your sacred union journey, in your own spiritual healing transformation, this will be relevant to you when you see it. Or it will be something you will have already moved through and you will recognize it and be able to take it as validation. So I've posted the longer reading on my Patreon page along with a post about the Unforgiven Mother. And I'm going to pick up where that reading left off. I've already shown you the cards. I'm going to show the new cards up close. But here's where the energies have transitioned. Pachamama, the arrow, and the beloved, which is the card for source in this reading, moved from being fluid inside of your sacred union to being active in healing in the outer world. So we had the arrow move through and penetrate the Unforgiven Mother or the sorceress. We had source move through out into the world to interact and connect with the human collective, the corn in this reading, healing the corn. And then we had Pachamama move from this part of the reading, and she is now feeling supported in her healing of the Unforgiven Mother journey she is on. This is her journey too, as well as ours. She is now on this journey, supported by the arrow of aligned, loving, sharing, nurturing, receiving, supportive, co-creative energy that is always emergent and available in source energy. So she is now in the healing process of sorting herself out from the Unforgiven Mother story that both our beloved Earth, Pachamama, and we as her children, the corn, have been laboring to liberate ourselves for a long, long time. So if you remember here, we had crow energy, and then we had the ghost dance card, which was very helpful in explaining the dynamic of the false twin, or of being corralled by an energy, tagged by an energy coming from the Unforgiving Mother. So this energy in this transition moved and was essentially sequestered by Crow, by the European ancestry here, helping out with this reading, the DNA, the lineage, helping out that part of the story. And then we have, because those energies moved and they're still working here and expressing here, today I was guided to pick some new cards to move into the current translation as this is moving this way from left to right. You might want to think about that as past to present, present to future. That's up to you. So the first card that came out, water, it was guided for me to put water up on the first row. and everything else is the same. So water came up to the top row. Upper world is still on the top row. So we have the beautiful consciousness of the upper world still blended in this union dynamic, communicating, sharing information, expressing, very, very beautiful mirroring in these cards of connection to the upper world through emotions and through consciousness. Now the new cards on the top row, we have the middle world, because I asked, you know, where is this going? And how will this get expressed in the real world, so that those of us who are paying attention might recognize a shift in the energies in our outer world. So the middle world card came in, and the middle world card is the card for me that represents your everyday life. This is not an imaginal realm card. This is not energy from the upper world. This is not shadow dynamics or incipient co-creations from the lower world. This is the daily reality that we are living in our human bodies. Now, the card that next came out with this was the Witness. And so we have the middle world and we have the Witness. The Witness is operating in the space between the middle world and the upper world. And it is this Witness energy that wrote the post about the Unforgiven Mother. And we'll be writing more about that because there's much more there to be revealed. It's just that for me it is a very laborious task. It's taking a lot of energy, and I am working to work through that in my own, clearing my own neurobiology from the impact of Spider Woman and the Unforgiven Mother dynamic in my own life, in this lifetime. So here we have the Witness, and this is encouragement for each of you to be able to find your way to the Witness stance, where you're witnessing your feelings, you're witnessing your emotions, you're witnessing your memories. This reading may bring up very real memories for you about dynamics in your own family. The feminine energy, if that happened to be your mother, or how the Spider Woman operated in your primary family. You'll know. So we have the Witness balancing the energy in the upper and middle worlds, and this is a function of the consciousness and the emotional balance that is available to this Witness, and that's a function of your sacred union. So that's really, really beautiful. It's so wonderful to see that. You can see here how it's almost like this sense of consciousness and connection and insight and information. This Witness looks like a she, but it's gender neutral. She's got this in her hand, and she's looking directly at what is being revealed. And she's inviting you to be a witness too. And I have a very, very dear friend who has been helping me witness this process, because it's too much for me to do, to even imagine that I could wade through this information by myself. And this is a major change. This is a really beautiful major change. And for me, it's a validation of some shifts in the outer reality around actually giving voice to what the Spider Woman and the Unforgiven Mother are doing, the damage that's being created in our everyday realities, which we just think is life, normal life. So here we have the Witness. Now, the next card that came out that was new came out to come into place after Beauty Way, and yes, look, the circle. Because I asked when the beloved moved in to help heal the situation with the unforgiven mother, and we were invited in union to just keep steady on our beauty way moving forward, then the energy of the beloved became the energy of the circle. And here you see the handprints of all of the genetic lineages that are involved in this process, as I have outlined them to you. Red, yellow, black, white, European, the etheric energy, the deep consciousness of the whale beings, the deep and powerful perspective, gigantic perspective of the dragon energies that are now part of the ascension journey. So we're to continue on our beauty way, and we will be met by the entire circle of life in its own transformational process. Then over here we have, I asked what is going to be the outcome of this encounter, conscious encounter with Spider Woman and the Unforgiven Mother. And the first card that came out was the result will be flow, that all of the process here involved in the sacred union and addressing this directly with so much help and assistance and awareness, that flow, organic source flow, is being restored to heal the children that have been blighted, the corn that's been blighted, and to heal and bring back to a neutral place within creation the Unforgiven Mother and Spider Woman. So there's more to come from this reading, but I just wanted to continue it, and I'll write another post around other information and data that's come in for me around this dynamic, because we need to talk about the Unforgiven Mother and what is her impact on men and boys in the family dynamic. So that's something I will be writing about, and I will post it on my Patreon page for you to view. Then next I asked, well, how is this moving forward? And we have the mystical shaman. And I feel this is a validation for me using this deck to even take a look at this dynamic, because I have gone into a very indigenous shamanic place with this process. And this morning, when I got up and I felt well enough to be on my feet, I came into my living room and I began to dance and sing in a combination of light language and indigenous language, and moving my body and reconnecting with this flow and with the beloved and with Pachamama. And I have found in the last 2 days, because this process has made me it's been quite challenging. It's made me, I'm transmuting by way of illness and clearing out my neurology, biology by way of illness. And I've been resting too, in addition to writing and looking at the information and feeling it in my own body. I've been resting. And for the first time in my life, I was able to view information about the Mayan culture in Mexico and South America without feeling so traumatized and horrified that I could not look. And then to wake up and to be feeling this mystical shamanic energy coming through the indigenous DNA that I have was very, very validating and powerful for me. And I've been guided to continue that as a form of morning ritual, so that I wake up in the wearing the consciousness of the mystical shaman, who is a witness between the middle world and the upper world. And then I'm in a way not only an earth keeper, but I'm very much cherishing the flow, the healing flow, and the new flow of energies from source that are moving through to truly fully heal and transmute this eons. It's as old as the earth. It's as old as the earth. The break off from Tiamat that became this planet that we have invested our life holograms on, where our avatars are living. It's Tiamat. And so I would encourage you to do some research about Tiamat. I have talked about this in the past. I began talking about this in 2016 when Pachamama Gaia let me know she was going to be dividing because and literally splitting off herself and her timelines because she could no longer bear the energy of this spider woman blighting the lives of her sacred corn children, and she could not support in any way the artificial non-organic life forms that the Unforgiven Mother created inadvertently. So there's so much more to learn here, and I'll include some links, things you can read, perhaps other websites you might want to explore, because the information is there. And in 2017, end of 2016, early 2017, I was taken to the universe, the domain of Spider Woman, and had an encounter with that domain of consciousness. But it was a far away journey that I had to make. And with what's going on now, it is absolutely, literally outside my door and in my body. So that's an incredible validation of an expansion into a very dynamic healing domain of consciousness. And we are doing work now in that domain, and this is spectacular because it is a very, very much part of the upper world meeting the middle world and healing the space in the middle. And so we're doing this, and I wanted to just share this with you, this next part of this reading. And then you can look on my Patreon page for the next associated blog post, and which I will probably call the Mystical Shaman, so you know how it relates, the relationship between what is happening now with all of the indigenous peoples on the planet and the opportunity for their cultures to reemerge, for their cultural wisdom to be welcomed, accepted, revered, implemented, because of the nature of the crisis that Spider Woman has put this particular planetary system and even our galaxy. She has no, I'm not going to talk about blame or shame. I want to focus on healing, but there's quite a dilemma here, and we are all working on it with all the heart, love, devotion, pure intention, and connection to Source and to Pachamama that we have available to each and every one of us. So thank you for continuing on with your own process. I would love to see some comments on the Patreon page, and the longer reading can be found there as well, and then additional writing around this. I will say that I do have an online workshop beginning on October 22nd. It's going to run for 6 consecutive weeks on a Tuesday night. I have a wonderful special for new subscribers. So those of you who are new to what's happening, you're just coming into union, and you may not understand how the sacred union journey and the various healing methods and tools are part of and an advantage in your spiritual transformation, or are part of a disadvantage in your spiritual transformation, because there are many practices out there right now that are being offered by the ghost dance community. And if you haven't developed your discernment yet and been through as many trials and processes, and oh my gosh, I am working on a book about it, because somebody needs to tell the full story of what it looks like for years from now, so we can look back and appreciate the journey we've been on. But the ghost dance community, which could be called the New Age community, that's a pretty broad brush. But the ghost dance and the New Age community and the Spider Woman and the tagging of the children, the organic children of Pachamama, there's a dynamic there. And it's just something to find out about. Feel it within your body for whatever truth resonance it has for you, and either use it or let it go. So I hope you'll join me on the 22nd. You'll need to email me to let me know that you've taken advantage of the special offer. The link will be in the description box. Gosh, I feel the love when I go through these journeys. I feel so much love that it helps me get through some of these really difficult transformational processes that I engage in. And I just want to let you know that I feel so much love and support, and thank you for that. And we are clearing things. We are clearing things on multiple dimensions and domains, and it is all starting to become coherent. So thanks for watching, and there may be another continuation of this reading. It feels as though that's possible. But if not, I'll see you next time, because this is a journey that I'm going to continue on. My direct connection to Source has encouraged me to continue to share the energy of the current translations as they show up in my own environment, and I'm able to translate them with truth, transparency, and trust. So yes, there actually was more that came out, because I wanted to feel what are the key words that we can focus on, as we are all of us who are in union, who have come into blended union now. This is part of the mission work of many of you who are in union. You may be doing this in your sleep. You may be doing this in your practice. You may be seeing new clients who are having this issue with mother issues coming up, of divine feminine lineage, ancestral lineage that has, like the final clearing of this, and I sure hope it's final. So the first card that came out was Ask Questions. So if you are in this union and on this journey and exploring this dynamic with the Unforgiven Mother, it's a time for you to focus on who you are and to be able to ask questions about your life, middle world, your childhood, things that went on in your family, so that you can regain that, both the memory and then the quanta that belongs to you, that could be trapped within some memory structures. Now, next out from the Creativity Suite, from my cards, Angel Bee cards, we have Water. So this is for me a lovely validation of water is still connected to this reading, and the water of consciousness and awareness is still flowing in a balanced way within the blended union. Now next we have, where and how can we open to what will come from doing this transformational work of the Unforgiven Mother? And here we have more love, receive and grow. And I feel this is speaking directly to those of us who have known for some time that there was something awry in our families, perhaps in us, perhaps in our relationships with our parents, with the way the world has been shown to us as this is how it works. So I feel that the receive love, more love, receive and grow is a blessing for the blighted corn, and a sign that this is being transformed. So I'm going to put this here. And then we have be the miracle. Be the miracle of this kind of transformation. Be the miracle. And I feel that the miracle is the genetic diversity that is now working to move through this incredibly ancient dynamic of the Unforgiven Mother. All right. That's very sweet. Be the miracle. So that's what we can just hold in our hearts. And then we have interdependence. And this speaks very much to the blended balance of the union and the interdependence between the worlds, the middle world, the upper world, the interdependence between earth and water, between the beauty way and lightning, between the witness and the child. There's so many levels of interdependence that are shown in this particular reading. Beautiful. And then we have here another card from the Gaia suite. This is sacred sexuality. And I feel this is very much related to the beauty way and the circle. Here we have lightning, beauty way, and circle. And these are all vibrations or frequencies that are part of sacred sexuality. And then the last card out is this is one of my favorite paintings of this group of paintings. And this is just a recognition from Source that we're connected. Thank you that Source is flowing through the energies that we need to support ourselves in the flow and becoming the mystical shaman. We're in the flow of Source. We're in the flow of consciousness. We can feel Source in our connection to the upper world. Source is supporting us in our functioning as beautiful witnesses to the transformational process of the Unforgiven Mother. Yeah, so Source is very much present in this reading, and I'm just going to put that right there, which is where my card for Source in all of my readings generally has a center place. Okay, so I'm probably now going to, because we're moving out of the full moon energy, and the Spider Woman and the blighted children of the corn, there are many people who view the lifeless moon as a reflection of divine feminine energy. And I would ask you to reconsider that if that's something that you've been aligned with. You might want to take that into your heart and ask questions. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.